So today we're going to discover all about apprenticeships, how to recruit an apprentice and how to support an apprentice. We're very, very lucky to have a really fantastic group of presenters here today who are going to tell you everything they know about it, and hopefully by the end of it you're going to be well equipped to go away and go and recruit those apprenticeships. I'm going to stop talking now and I'm going to hand you over to our first speaker, Anne Oddie from Weston College. So Anne, it's over to you. Do you want me to, what did we decide? Am I sharing your screen, your slides?
If you wouldn't mind, that'd be great. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Oh, that's fine.
So I'm just going to move the screen.
Okay.
So good morning, everybody. My name is Anne Oddie and I'm the Employer Engagement Advisor for Health and Social Care Apprenticeships at Weston College. Could you do the next slide, please, Keryn? So my role in apprenticeships is at the very start of the journey, working very closely with employers, and I work with a lot of the big trusts across the southwest, and I work with smaller employers, I work with the large employers, and that's my sort of journey starts with the employers to make sure that they can be fully informed to understand how apprenticeships work, what the Weston College play their part in the apprenticeships. So my presentation is how apprenticeships can support the recruitment, retention and training of your workforce. We believe at Weston College that the long-term success and growth of any business is reliant on its people, and with the right skills, businesses can create a future-proof workforce to reach their goals. Next slide, please, Keryn. Thank you. So I just wanted to touch really on Weston College for those of you that aren't familiar of us. So we consistently deliver outstanding teaching and learning for outcomes for students, which is one of the highest quality found in the UK. So just to touch on the college, we're very highly ambitious for our learners. We're Ofsted outstanding in all areas across the college. One thing that Weston College are very proud of is that we are a national centre of excellence for SEND. For those of you that may not be familiar with that, that's special education needs and disabilities. And we have an excellent team. I believe it's actually the third best in the UK for the support for our full-time and work-based apprentices. We have been Bristol and Bath Apprenticeship Provider for the year for the last 3 years. Our principal is Sir Paul Phillips. He's just received a knighthood and he has become Principal of the Year many times. We have Engineering Manufacturing Apprenticeship Provider of the Year and Apprenticeships Campaign of the Year. We also have Careers and Enterprise Company for Innovation in Careers and Enterprise. And we were the first college in the UK to be awarded the Carnegie Centre of Excellence for Mental Health in Schools, which was the Further Education Mental Health Award Gold status. So you can see how passionate we are about our learners and how we take the care and the welfare of our apprenticeships very, very seriously in the college. Next slide, please, Keryn. So what we do as a college, so Weston College is an overview, work with over 2,500 employers across the southwest to deliver over 70 different apprenticeship programmes across a wide range of sectors and skills. And health and social care is one of the largest sectors that we work with employers in. Each learner that takes up an apprenticeship with us will have a dedicated assessor who will then support them throughout the duration of their apprenticeship. And the learners have access to their own apprenticeship hub on the Weston College website. Next slide, please, Keryn. Thank you. So at this stage, I just wanted to touch on what work-based apprenticeships are. So they are work-based training programs that focus on developing the knowledge, skills and behaviours of that learner within their job role. It's a minimum of 12 months duration. The average duration is between 12 and 21 months of the healthcare apprenticeship programmes that we provide. There's a minimum of 6 hours per week of training, which is called off the job if the learners are full-time. And this minimum of 6 hours is built into the apprenticeship programme, and it's the learners learning new skills and new knowledge and new behaviours while they're doing their job role. So this is something that's a government requirement, but you would find it would naturally fit into a learner's job when they're doing an apprenticeship. If learners do not have English and maths, and again, the government require all students, all apprenticeship students, to have English and maths at different levels by the time they achieve their apprenticeship and go through the endpoint assessment. So if the learners for some reason don't have those English and maths or can't provide the evidence, we can support with functional skills for those students so that they have the requirement level in English and maths at the end of their apprenticeship. Apprenticeships offer clear career paths, and we have lots of progression routes within our healthcare apprenticeships. They're a very personalised approach to learning. The learners would have reviews with their individual assessor completed at least every 6 to 8 weeks, and it's very much also including the line manager of that learner. And the endpoint assessment, which is at the very end of the journey, is with the chosen endpoint assessment organisation that we work with in the college. So this just gives you just touches really on what the training programme looks like. It goes into much more detail depending on what apprenticeship your learner student might undertake, and we can provide all of that information to any of you so you can see what would suit your work and your business the best. So the next slide please, Keryn, thank you. So what are the benefits to the employer of having a work-based apprenticeship? You can recruit and retain future talent and address skills shortages. And we know at the moment throughout the NHS, there is a big issue with those shortages and recruitment holes in the NHS across all trusts at the moment. You can upskill existing staff to help with staff retention. So an apprenticeship is not only available to somebody that may have just left school or be in college, it can be available to your existing staff to upskill them and look at their progression route within the company. You can expand and develop your workforce with the relevant skills needed for your business. And as an employer, you can qualify from funding from the government to help pay for your apprentice. Apprentices are motivated to learn new skills. You can hire apprentices at different levels, from school leavers to university graduates. There is no, excuse me, there is no age limit to the person that would be maybe in the business already and somebody new coming in. If you haven't got somebody within your business that you'd like to put forward for an apprenticeship, Weston College have a free recruitment service to assist you with the whole recruitment process if required. So basically what that means is we would talk to you, and it would be myself as the employer engagement advisor, talk to you about your needs and what you want within the business, what type of person you want, what type of job role it is, and we would advertise that on your behalf. It goes up onto the National Apprenticeship website. It goes onto the Weston College website and all of our social media channels that we use from the college. It's a free service, and what happens then is as the applications come through, the recruitment team would be in contact with you, send you CVs and help you through the process of getting those interviews set up and ready for you to interview. Because recruitment in any business is quite a big job in itself. So we can take some of that process away, work alongside you to help you find exactly the right person that you want for a role you might have. Each employer has a dedicated account manager, that would be myself, to assist with any queries throughout the duration of the learner's apprenticeship. And we do work very closely with all of our healthcare employers. We have regular meetings. The training team would also meet with you at your convenience to discuss the learner's journey, how they're doing, as well as the assessor who would get involved. So there's lots of people from the college to support you in the work-based apprenticeship journey. I could have the next slide, please, Keryn, sorry. So the healthcare apprenticeship programmes that we offer at Weston College, we offer adult care worker at level 2, and that's a funding band of £3,000. As I said earlier in my, when I mentioned about the benefits with the help from the government, some of you will be levy payers, which means the whole of the funding is covered. For smaller employers, there is sometimes a request for 5% of the programme value, but we can often offset that against a levy transfer from another employer. So in many cases, there is no cost to the employer for having an apprenticeship in the business, apart from making sure that they do have a contract and the minimum apprenticeship wage is paid to them in a normal work contract. We also offer adult care worker level 3. That's a funding band of 5,000. Healthcare support worker level 2, similar funding band to the adult care worker level 2, and senior healthcare support worker level 3, and again similar funding band to the adult care worker level 3. We do offer at Weston College degree level apprenticeships available at level 5, and we work with our learners that have progressed from level 3s to become assistant practitioners or trainee nursing associates. So degree level apprenticeships are available as a progression route for your potential apprentices. We offer as well non-clinical apprenticeships programs which are available to support functions within the business. So that could be something like a business admin, an HR manager. We have all sorts of different other offerings that I'd be happy to share with any of you that might be interested. With all of the programs I've mentioned, we have a detailed training plan, which I can send to any of you if you're interested, so you can actually see what the training looks like month on month. So next slide, please, Keryn, that'd be great. So I just wanted to touch just on the apprenticeship delivery and the learner journey. So once there's an agreement in place that you would like to put forward an apprentice, or we're recruiting for one, once that recruitment's taken place, they would be put through an enrolment process. That's done by the team in the college. If that learner wasn't quite ready for an apprenticeship, we offer a traineeship programme where appropriate, and that would be a short programme where a learner can go on to a traineeship and improve perhaps their maths and English, do workshops, look at different team building exercises for maybe 6 weeks, 12 weeks ahead of potentially having an apprenticeship. So that traineeship is available for somebody that's not quite ready, but you can see there is the potential for them to then move into an apprenticeship. And once the enrolment's completed, there would be an apprenticeship induction. So we ask all of our apprentices to attend an induction. This could be delivered face-to-face, this could be delivered online, or this could be delivered via our virtual classroom. So this is a really good session in a day that introduces them to their apprenticeship, introduces them to their assessor, and talks about some of the things that they'll be doing while they're on their apprenticeship programme. So once the learning starts, there are progress reviews every 8 weeks, which I mentioned, with a dedicated assessor, the learner and the line manager. General review alternate months for individual development beyond the qualification. Monthly workshops to supplement learning with knowledge and practical application and wider skills. So again, the workshops sometimes are online, sometimes in the virtual classroom, sometimes face-to-face, because we appreciate, particularly in health and social care, that it's a demanding job and that they have to work around shifts when they're on wards, depending on their workplace setting. So we work very closely with each of our employers to make sure we can tailor the training to work alongside how you work and your challenges you've got, in healthcare. After the apprentice has been on the big 3/4 of the part of their apprenticeship, they would go to a point which is called gateway, and this is when the assessor and the line manager will establish if that learner is ready to go through their endpoint assessment, which is the final part of their apprenticeship. Just a point here to make that the apprentice is actually working towards this endpoint assessment really from the very start. So they're gathering their evidence, they're gathering their portfolio. So this all comes together with the assessor to then get them ready for that endpoint assessment, which is when they go through to hopefully pass their apprenticeship. So learners are also supported with a personalised learning plan throughout the course of their apprenticeship, enabling them to track their progress and understand their progression. All of this would be fully supported by the training and delivery team, by their assessor, and by Weston College as a whole. One thing just to mention when I talked about enrolment, if a learner has any particular learning needs or health needs, this is discussed at the very beginning when they're discussing their enrolment, and we can put forward a referral to our SEND team if any additional support in any way is required for that learner. So you can see it as a very supportive journey that Weston College offer. So next slide, please, Keryn. Thank you. So I'd just like to say thank you. I realise that was quite a lot of information, but I'd happily take any questions that any of you might have. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Anne. That was great. There's one question on here. Well, it's not a question. Keryn Morris has actually stated about, as well as the support from the Weston College for the funding, there's also some funding available through the Workforce Development Fund. So that's also a really good help. And if anybody's interested, come and talk to myself or Keryn Morris. Yeah, that's there's an awful lot of information there. I mean, I learned quite a lot myself.
You good?
Yeah. So you say people are assessed every 6 to 8 weeks. Is that actually at the college, or is that in the workplace?
That would be in the workplace. So what would happen is the appointment's made sort of well in advance. There's a system that all apprentices use that's called Smart Assessor. So it's our online portfolio of the learner, the assessor would use, and any line manager can be shown how to use Smart Assessor. So that's used to upload evidence, to record work, and it's another way of communication with your assessor as well. You can, even though you may see your assessor with your line manager every 6 to 8 weeks, they're always on hand, you know, in between. It doesn't mean that you can't contact them if you're stuck on something or have a question. But Smart Assessor is the online portfolio. So the assessor would come into the workplace, because there may be occasions when part of the evidence that's being collated might be an observation on the ward. So the assessor would come in with the line manager's agreement and the learners and do an assessment of a particular task in the workplace. So that would then be used as evidence onto Smart Assessor as part of that portfolio. So in terms of the meetings, it would be very much to the workplace. In terms of, like I said, with the training, induction is face-to-face generally, location to suit everybody. But the workshops are a blend, because we appreciate, you know, the distance to travel. We are based in Weston, the distance to travel with Weston if people are the other side of Bristol, and I work with learners in Gloucester and Wiltshire. It's not feasible to keep bringing them into Weston. So we very much work with the learner, with the employer and the line manager, and that's part of what I do with the training team, to work out what's the best way to deliver that training to suit everybody's needs.
Lovely,
so
thank you.
I think it would be a requirement to keep coming to Weston, because it physically wouldn't be practical and sensible. So we've got all sorts of different ways that we can deliver it.
There is another question, but I think Richard's actually going to cover this. It's asking for clarity regarding the offset of the 5% for small size companies. I think that might be to do with the levy. Is that what?
It is basically if the employer is a non-levy employer.
Yeah, that's what Richard's going to cover.
So I can just chat. If the learner is 16 to 18, there is no 5% contribution required. The government fully fund the course. If the learner is 19 plus and the employer is non-levy, then the government require, they call it a 5% co-investment of the course. So for example, level 2 was 3,000, so it'd be a 5% of 3,000 to pay. But quite often we work with Leon Fisher from the WTPN, who can arrange levy transfer to employers with the bigger companies that haven't used all their levy up. So I know Richard's going to cover that on his, but that from our point of view, it's not always necessarily the case, and age is also dependent on that particular point as well.
Thank you. Anne, that was brilliant. Thank you so much.
Sorry, I think I've overrun, so I do apologise. But I just wanted to, you know, contain as much information as I could.
Absolutely, and that's what the whole purpose of this is all about today. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Okay, so Richard, are you on standby? Are you there?
I am indeed here, yes. Can you hear me okay?
I can, yeah. Hello.
Perfect.
Good morning. Do you wish me to share your screen, or are you okay?
If you could share, just to pre-warn you, I'm in a place that's got a little bit of background noise, so you might hear some coffees and stuff being made in the background, but I've tried to pick the quietest spot, you know.
Okay, so there we go. Over to you then, Rich. Thank you.
Perfect. Good morning, everybody. So my name is Rich Francis. I'm the Apprenticeship Project Manager for Bristol, North Somerset, South Gloucestershire Integrated Care Board. So I work with all the apprenticeship teams across all the organisations that sit within that to be able to facilitate system-wide working on all things apprenticeships. Now that could be placements, levy transfers, etc., etc. So I look after anything from level 2 to level 7. And we got, so at the moment across BNSSG, you know, those organisations that provide their data to us, we got over 900 apprentices working on 52 different apprenticeship standards, so quite a vast amount. Next slide, please, Keryn. So I just want to talk to you a bit about the 5% sort of contribution. So if your apprentice was sort of over the age of 18 to 19 plus, which Anne alluded to earlier on about the 5%. So I just wanted to chat first of all, what makes an organisation a levy paying organisation? Sorry, can you still hear me okay? I've got a lot of background noise.
Yeah, we're fine.
Okay. If it gets too loud, just let me know and I'll try and move somewhere else.
No, we can only hear you, so it's okay.
Perfect.
Thank you.
I've got a headset on for that reason. So organisations with a pay bill of more than £3 million per year, that's combined as an organisation, they are a levy paying organisation. And 0.05% of their pay bill goes into an apprenticeship levy account and they then use that to spend on apprenticeships. Co-investment is a default option. In this case, you'll be asked to pay 5% of the levy tuition cost and the government will automatically pay the 95%. Again, that's if your apprentice is over the age of 19 plus. So there is an alternative, and that alternative is levy transfer. So levy transfer is an alternative option. A levy paying employer can agree to transfer the funds to pay 100% of the cost of the apprenticeship that goes directly to the training provider through your apprenticeship service account. Now, Healthier Together as an integrated care system has created a levy bank where non-levy paying organisations can apply for this levy transfer. I'm mindful there's organisations in this call that might not sit within Bristol, North Somerset, South Gloucestershire, so I will note that Somerset ICS and Bath, Swindon and Wiltshire ICS also have levy transfer options as well, just in case you sit in those geographics. The apprenticeship levy only covers the cost of tuition fees and cannot be used to cover the cost of salary or backfill, etc., etc. Next slide, please, Keryn. So levy transfer. What is levy transfer? A levy transfer is where one levy paying employer agrees to transfer a proportion of their levy funds to another employer for them to train the apprentice. Who can the transferred money go to? So sending employers can receive or can find funding receiving employers. So there's two ways of doing it. You can either apply through your ICS, or there's also the levy pledge system on the gov.uk website. So you can also log into that and you'll find organisations on there who have committed an amount of their levy, and quite often they specify that they want that money to go to health and social care or construction or whatever. So a receiving organisation can be a member of a company's supply chain, a local business, or even a charity, as long as the apprentice is in a paid role on a contract, can be fixed term for a duration of the apprenticeship or a permanent contract, then you can apply for that levy transfer. How much can be transferred? So levy paying sending employers can transfer a maximum amount of 25% of their annual funds. At the moment, this is being lobbied because, you know, in our system, we've still got organisations paying money back to the Treasury because they're not using enough themselves, and they've also transferred out the maximum of 25%. So the rest does still currently go back to the government, but there is lobbying going on at the moment to get that cap sort of removed, and we've gone a long way because it was only sort of 10-15% a couple of years ago, so the fact it's been increased to 25 has helped with that. What will I need in place to take part? So for an apprenticeship levy transfer, you will need an apprenticeship service account. So for this, we can also support with this. So if you've had an apprentice in the last sort of 2 years, I would say you've probably as an organisation already got an apprenticeship service account, and if you haven't and you would need support in setting that up, either myself or I'm sure your training providers such as Weston College, I'm more than happy to use your support of how to manage and maintain that apprenticeship service account. Next slide, please. So I just wanted to share with you some of the volumes. So since we introduced the levy bank, so on this slide here, you can see who's committed what within our sort of geographics. So on here, we got North Bristol Trust, University Hospital Bristol Weston, Avon Wiltshire Mental Health Partnership, Serena Bristol City Council, Oxley's, Somerset Foundation Trust. So as you can see, since the introduction of the levy bank, you know, our two biggest organisations for healthcare in the BNSSG have committed nearly £500,000 per organisation since the introduction of the levy bank. And the way levy transfers are funded, so if we agree to support, say, a trainee nurse associate of £15,000, that money is divided over the duration of the course into monthly payments, and then that money is paid by the transferring organisation into the receiving organisation's AS account, and then the training provider then takes that money out the AS account on a monthly basis. So like I said, these slides, I'm more than happy for you to share these slides after, Keryn, but I just wanted to put this in just so you could see where the proportion of the money is coming from. And as you'll see, Somerset Foundation Trust are actually donating us some of their levy. So within Somerset ICS, they're slightly different to us. So a lot of their GP surgeries are levy paying organisations, because quite a few are owned by the Foundation Trust. And also they've got a lot of levy paying healthcare organisations in Somerset, like Somerset Care, etc. So they don't have the same opportunity to transfer money out from their large organisations as we do. So they've kindly donated some of their funds to us as well. And local councils are now giving away some of their levy as well. So we committed 500k in levy transfer this financial year that we're currently on, and we've gone over 800,000 this year. And I should imagine, with the application we received already for March, we're probably going to see £1 million commitment in levy transfer this year alone. Next slide, please, Keryn. Sorry, I do talk really quick. So where we're running over on time, we'll probably get that back, no problem. So I just wanted to share with you, so this is data from back in January. So it's gone up the amount since here. So when we introduced levy share, we targeted the audience at primary care and social care. And social care have been a little bit slower on the uptake than primary care, but you will see in a slide in a minute that the amount transferred to social care has increased year on year. So this is what we committed up till January 23 for this financial year. And as you can see, we've committed to 24 nursing associates across the system, 25 advanced clinical practitioners, business admins, as we alluded to earlier, it's about those support roles as well. So it's not just your doctors and nurses and your healthcare, there's sort of clerical roles as well, sort of, administration, chefs and portering and anything else you can think of. We can, as long as it's health and social care related, we're happy to support as a system. That's just a breakdown of the qualifications that we supported this financial year to increase the workforce in primary care and social care. Next slide, please, Keryn. So this is the previous year. So since the introduction of levy banks, as you can see in 2021, we committed sort of 360 odd thousand. As you can see, only 55,000 that went to social care. So the news about the levy share is definitely getting out there, and we are receiving more and more social care applications. And as you'll see with 21-22, the amount going to social care almost trebled to 157,000, be it the amount we transferred only had a very small increase overall. But year on year, levy transfer has increased, and this year has been the biggest increase of them all. And a lot of that's down to awareness of the transfer system. So we've done a lot of primary care events. We're now doing social care events. And although the cost to the employer for the tuition fees is only 5%, actually, if you can get that 5% back and get it 100% funded, then that's still a better option for us all. And actually, we still, if we didn't offer levy transfer, there was months where, as a system, we were paying back in excess of £250,000 a month in unused apprenticeship levy to the Treasury, and that's now reduced. With the introduction of levy share and an increase in apprentice, we're now paying back on average about £51,000-52,000 a month, which is still a lot, but a lot better than where it was. So yes, you can see on the previous years, and like I said, I'm more than happy to share this, that the levy share has gone up, and it's gone up massively this year, and I should imagine next year we'll see another increase. And that's why we had to reach out to local councils and stuff to support with levy share, as well as the main NHS trusts. So next slide, please, Keryn. So I just thought it'd be quite useful to put this piece in for a bit of an apprenticeship information. So if you're a nursing home, a nursing associate is a role that fits within your organisation. Nursing associate and registered nurse apprentices do have to go out on a range of placements during their apprenticeship. 4 placements, I believe. I'm not a clinical expert, but I believe they go on 4 placements. Many of those in social care will be sort of external placements to organisations such as the BRI or Weston General, maybe some of our community providers as well. And one thing I mentioned to Keryn when we were planning this meeting is, do social care know that we can also provide support for those placements? As in, you can contact us in the ICB and mention that you need a placement in an acute trust, and we can support you with getting that placement. Because straight away, if I was tasked with finding 4 placements, I'd be sat there thinking, where do I go? Who do I contact? How am I going to do this? So we've tried to make the increase in the nursing associate role as easy as possible in sort of social care by providing you with a levy transfer option and also support them with the 4 external placement requirements. So next slide, please. Now, with the placement support, like I said, during the trainee nurse associate apprenticeship, there's a requirement for 4 placements. Some of these placements will need to be external placements to meet the Nursing and Midwifery Council requirements. So within the BNSSG, so BNSSG Bristol North Somerset South Gloucestershire Integrated Care Board, there's an apprenticeship group that are formed in there, and that group is full of sort of organisational apprenticeship and L&D leads. And within that group, we've got 2 what we call trainee nurse associate placement education facilitators. And what they do is they're the ones that facilitate that placement rotation. So if you put a trainee nurse associate through the apprenticeship route, they would find those placements for you. However, there are some small conditions, and those conditions I think are quite straightforward. So one of the conditions is you must accept the student in return for this offer. If you don't, we would end up with more students than placements, and you know, running the maths, we can't have that situation. So we offer that support based upon, whilst your student goes out on their 4-week placement to another organisation, you will take one of their students, or 2 if you could fit 2 or 3, into your organisation in return and show them what you do in social care, etc., etc. So that is one of the requirements. And another requirement that we have, because these TNA PEF roles are funded by our education providers, which is currently University of West of England and University Centre Weston, the apprentice to have that TNA support must be on one of those programs, because the roles that we've got for the TNA PEFs are funded by those 2 education providers. And the apprentice must obviously be on the TNA apprenticeship. We do also have the registered nurse degree apprenticeship, which is really new to us as a system. You know, we've got 100 apprentices on that program, and we're expecting to see some real growth on that program. However, we don't have the same setup currently. We do not have a registered nurse degree apprentice PEF. However, we are looking at a system of working with an education provider that would give us that role. So it's something that we're working towards, but we're not there yet. But if you did go along the registered nurse degree apprenticeship route, again, reach out to us and we can put you in touch with the trust, but we just wouldn't have that same level of support currently. But it's something that we're working towards. Next slide, please. And then, like I said, Keryn, I'm happy for you to share these slides. So I've just put some useful links to various websites on here. I was going to do a little bit about career pathways and stuff, but I think somebody else on the agenda has talked about career pathways, how you can do it from level 2 to 6, etc. But there is a link there to the HASO website, and then there's also one on the Skills for Care website, which talk how you can get from level 2 to level 6. And then I've just got some links that will help you be able to manage your sort of apprenticeship service accounts. If you don't have one yet, there's various YouTube video links on how to set one up. There's also some there how to create a cohort on your apprenticeship service account, how to apply for levy transfer. There's all sorts of links there. But again, you know, I'm quite happy for my email address to be shared. And if you've got any questions, then you can reach out to us and we can find somebody who is an AS account expert within the system or our training providers to support you with that request as well. So you're not alone on this, you know, and the apprenticeship service account is something you only have to set up once. Once it's set up, you would remain on that same account. And what you can do is you can click various links on there to ask my training provider to add apprentices and stuff for me. And they will actually do a lot of the admin for you as well. And you just log in and approve, which is what I've done. So I manage the ICB apprenticeship account. And straight away, I click all providers to add the information for me. So the email comes in, you've got something to approve, log in and approve it. So like I said, it's just being mindful that you're not alone. We've got lots of support available for you, and there's lots of people across the system who are always willing to help, and that's to help us all. You know, we're all, you know, as Anne alluded to earlier, every single organisation is crying out for healthcare support workers, adult care workers, nurses, and every single profession across healthcare is looking out to increase their workforce at the moment. Next slide, I think that's the last slide. Actually, I haven't got a question slide, but if you've got any questions, I'm more than happy to take them.
Rich, that was brilliant. Thank you. There hasn't been questions. And Keryn has that quite rightly said. And as you've alluded to, Rich, we're talking about BNSSG, but this actually applies right across the whole areas. So anybody on here from outside of area, there is a support to everybody in a similar sort of line of. And what I will say at this point is, if anybody that is not I'm not familiar with, and there's a lot of you on here today, if you want to put your email address, you can message it to me privately into the chat. I will make sure you get these slides if you're not a member of Keryn Support West. So there is, you know, this is open to you. So thank you. I mean, the message clear is there's support to recruit. The message from Anne came to recruit for, you know, and I didn't realize that there was a recruitment process in place to help find apprentices. So what a fantastic opportunity for us all. So thank you, Rich. Appreciate it. Okay, so if there's no more questions for Richard, we'll move on to Jodie and Tony. I don't know if Tony's with you, Jodie. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we're both here.
You're both. Right, so I'm going to move on to these two lovely young ladies who've been very kind to sort of come and tell us about their experiences with running apprentice or supporting apprenticeships. Do you want me to share your slides, or are you happy to do that yourself?
Are you happy to share, or
Oh,
are you able to share them, please, Keryn?
Yes, that's fine.
Thank you.
Okay, there you go. Over to you then.
Okay, so we're Saracen Care. I'm L&D manager, and Jodie also works in L&D. So together we have had quite a lot of experience with apprenticeships, and we just wanted to kind of share with you some of those experiences. And we've got some testimonials from people who have done the apprenticeships, and managers who have people who have done apprenticeships in their team. So could we have the first slide, please, Keryn? And the next one. Okay, so we have approximately 150 staff, might be a little bit more now, of which we have this year, we have 11 staff on apprenticeships, broken down into 3 managers who are doing their level 5 diploma apprenticeship in health and social care. We have 2 managers on the level 5 diploma doing leadership and management. We have 2 support workers doing a level 3 in as a lead adult care worker. We have 2 team leaders doing level 3 in lead adult care worker, and we have 2 support workers doing level 2. So just to give you a bit of a breakdown, I think 11 is the most we've ever had on in 1 year. I think we might have had 8 last year. Okay, next slide, please. So promotions within Saracen Care. So if we looked at our staff from last year that completed an apprenticeship or diploma, and we've actually promoted, and the majority that were on course. So we've had 2 senior support workers promoted to a team leader. There's a support worker who's in progress to become a senior support worker. We've had a care manager actually become a operations manager, and we also have a senior support worker in progress to become a team leader. And this is all stemmed from completing their diplomas last year. So they're all progressing or have progressed to better roles within our company. Next slide, please, Keryn. So the benefits for the apprentice, it's improved confidence on all levels, it's improved self-belief and self-esteem. Sorry, 2 seconds, I just need to minimize my screen. Improved resilience due to managing the demands of the qualification. It's improved time management and accountability, working to deadlines. It's improved collaborative working, builds trust and shows commitment from both sides, and improved professionalism and empowering. Next slide, please, Keryn. So I think that just following on from what Jodie was saying, I think that we like to promote from within anyway, and I think up until kind of fairly recently, our emphasis on pathways maybe could have been better. So this feeds in really nicely to our personal development plans, and what people want, for their sort of employee journey, if you like. And if we know that somebody wants to do a diploma or an apprenticeship, then we will do everything we can to prepare them for that. We might be giving them, little pockets of learning or little pockets of, experience so that we can get people ready. I think from the organisation,
we see, the benefits of improved communication, improved competence, knowledge and skills, improved quality, and the delivery of the service that we can then provide for the people we're supporting, partners and stakeholders. We see that bar rising, and we see that people do things with the knowledge of why they do it, not just doing it because someone's told them to do it. So I think that's really important. What we've noticed as well, that even our level 2, so people think of leadership as being like a management thing. What we're noticing is that people, staff who have been through this process or are going through the process suddenly become better leaders. They show good decision making. When they're on shift or during team meetings, you suddenly see this person really being able to kind of handle the situation. Sorry, I just saw something come up. I can have a look at that in a minute. Improve staff morale. Staff feel valued and they're positive and they feel invested in. We have less performance management, either because people are interested and inspired to do things well. And we talk more about personal development plans rather than performance management. And, I think it improves people's investment in those and gives them pathways for the future. And I think it isn't an easy qualification. I think that people learn from it, and people don't just learn the information, but they learn all sorts of other stuff about themselves as well. Can we have the next slide, please? Oh, I need to change my what we see is that in those teams where we have that positive outlook and we have that investment in people's development and their pathways to the next thing, we see a reduction in sickness, and we see a much more resilient workforce. People through doing the qualification, often people come into our line of work without any official qualifications. They have the right values. We really like them as people, and they're learning. But I think what doing a qualification or apprenticeship does for people is it makes them believe in themselves. It gives them confidence, and that's where we see this resilience really coming in. So because of that, we increase our staff retention, and we haven't lost anyone who's done an apprenticeship with us for going back years. They tend to stay with us. I think a lot of people come to us having been promised that they can do their apprenticeships, and they've often not been able to do that. So because we're people who do promote these apprenticeships and these, we can see the benefits where we proactively, allow that to happen. We see improved ethical working, less judgments, understanding their code of conduct. Just people are much more understanding of everybody else's journey, and we find that that's a really positive thing as well. Improved overall employee experience. It is quite hard having, or at times it can be quite tricky because you're managing rotas and you're trying to give people space and time, and often when they're struggling, we make all the plans we can to allow that person to do some work while they're at work and maybe take over their shift for a while. But overall, I think people see that happening and they just have this improved employee experience. Next slide, please. We have some testimonials, Jodie.
Yeah, so we branched out to a couple of staff that completed their diplomas last year to ask them how they felt it benefited them in their role. So the first statement is from a level 5 diploma learner. They've said that I feel that completing my level 5 diploma was extremely beneficial for me in my care manager role. It complemented the role and responsibilities that are expected of me within this role and gave me more confidence in particular areas. It gave me the opportunity to read and learn about different theories which I had never researched before and apply them to my day-to-day work setting. It's increased my knowledge and overall outlook of working in the health and social care environment. Slide, please, Keryn. And then our second testimonial is from a level 3 diploma learner. They've stated that completing my lead adult care worker level 3 diploma has given me the skills and the confidence to be able to not only support the people we support to the best of my ability, but it's also helped me learn invaluable skills that allow me to mentor and coach the staff in my team. By having both the diploma and the support from Saracen Care, I've managed to work my way up to the ladder and become a team leader within the company and continue to give my award-winning support that Saracen is known for and enrich the lives of everyone involved. It has cemented the core values of what working in care is all about and allowed me to carry over those values into my everyday life. So this person actually progressed from a senior support worker to a team leader due to the knowledge and skills that he learned from doing his diploma and the boost of confidence and all of the benefits that it entails. So that was a really good outcome for this learner. Next slide, please, Keryn.
So just to add on to that, the apprentice that Jodie was just talking about actually came from a hospitality business and had never worked in care before. So he actually started as a support worker with 0 experience, and within 2 years has made his way up to team leader. So, you know, it really does open doors for people. So this is from Steve Johnson, who is one of the care managers at Saracen. You know, as a manager, seeing staff progress with their professional development is extremely gratifying. It stands testament to the hard work my teams put in to see them achieve their diplomas in health and social care. This not only inspires others to follow suit, but benefits the wider team and management exponentially. As an organisation, seeing the rewards that having staff with such ambition brings operationally is amazing. To share, you know, workload with a team of qualified individuals brings great satisfaction and bolsters the outstanding support we provide to those in our care. Our learning journeys will never end, but they are enriched by the knowledge that completing a diploma in health and social care can bring. And that's from, you know, a manager who is really open to having as many apprentices as he, you know, as want to do it on his team. And he's really reaping the benefits of that now. Can we have the next slide, please? So that's kind of the end. We could talk all day about how we're you know, Saracen Care is not just outstanding in terms of you know, the care we provide to the people we support, but also the kind of you know, the support and the, you know, attention we give to personal developments, and apprenticeships, you know, form a really big part of that. So yeah, are there any questions?
There aren't any questions, but you've given everybody a real sort of understanding of the benefits of supporting apprenticeships, which is fantastic, and your experience has been great. We are running over a little bit of time, so there aren't any questions. I don't think they're actually aimed at Richard, I think, but we'll pick that up in a moment. But thank you, ladies, so much for your time this morning. We really appreciate hearing how beneficial and the advantages of and, you know, it's great that people are progressing, isn't it? It really is great. So thank you very much, ladies. I appreciate your time today. So Laurence, I've seen you. You've had me worried. I've seen you. You're using Richard's screen. So are you there?
Yeah, I've grown in height a little bit, which is quite thankful actually.
I was slightly concerned that you weren't going to be. I didn't see you pop in, so I thought.
You were getting all worried, weren't you?
Okay, so I'm going to hand you over to Laurence Ross, who's going to tell you a little bit about post-16 education, I believe. Is that right?
Yeah, and you've got my slides, haven't you? Just to check. No,
No.
I've got them. It's fine.
You've got them.
I've
You didn't send them to me.
No, it's all right. I've got them. It's all right. So if I just bring that up. So hi, my name is Laurence Ross. I'm the Schools and College Engagement Project Manager within the ICB. And I'm going to just talk you through or give you a kind of brief overview of kind of how post-16 providers such as Weston College and Weston College and other colleges and training providers can support you in your recruitment and also your retention a little bit as well. I'm just going to send my slides to Keryn from Richard's email address, just because I can't put them on at the moment. But essentially, so post-16 education is delivered by a number of different providers, including Weston College, who would be like a further education college, and then you've also got training providers such as kind of BCE Education, who are based in Clevedon, and they would predominantly look at the delivery of apprenticeships, but they may also look at delivering kind of bespoke training around first aid and kind of some other manual handling courses as well. And then I think Daisy Richards is going to be on the call later on, and Daisy is working for the Princess Trust, and she works predominantly with young people who are not in education, employment or training, and her role is to kind of support those young people to develop education skills, develop skills that will then help them to gain pre-employment. The great thing is that that's quite a holistic package in post-16 education, in the fact that Weston College offer both kind of mainstream courses, they offer apprenticeships, and they offer kind of employability programs as well, and also employer focus programs. Whereas the training providers kind of are a little bit more focused on individual aspects. Can we just go on a slide? Is that all right, Keryn? Yep. So as you can see on the right hand side, there is what those specific kind of categories of post-16 provider will offer. So kind of Weston College or City of Bristol College or SGS College will offer everything from kind of pre-GCSE. So for those young people who maybe didn't gain their full GCSE qualification, all the way up to degree level, and in some cases they work with universities to provide master's level qualification. Training providers offer professional qualifications, apprenticeships, and in some cases pre-employment programs. And then charities with young people, they kind of work with them to kind of gain employment, gain work experience, but also find what they would like to do. And it's all about re-engagement and employment for those young people as well. Would it be right just to move on, Keryn? Thank you. Okay, so the post-16 offer is kind of, I've split it into two categories here. So you've got the 16 to 18-year-olds, and then you've got the kind of adults, which would kind of be 19 plus, as I'm calling it here. So at 16 to 18, this is about continuing education from secondary school, and the focus has changed from kind of quite a vast array of different qualifications, all covering the same thing. And the government are looking at bringing that in line with the apprenticeship framework, using the T-levels and the T-levels in health. However, don't be put off by the health kind of title for that. Young people who qualify with a T-level from health can work in social care and will have skills and experiences that will support them within social care as well. You've also got your level 1 and level 2 programs. So these are young people who probably didn't gain the qualifications that they needed to go on to A levels or the T level program at college. And they're doing a couple of years below to gain their functional skills, but also to gain some skills around a specific topic. So that, in our case, that's health and social care. And these will be covered by BTECs as well. And the great thing about these two programs, both T levels and the level 1 and level 2 programs, is that we have an opportunity as social care providers and as a system to go in to colleges, work with them to co-design the curriculum and develop the workforce for the next for their next step. So we actually get to define or help define what young people will learn on these programs, we can go in and also deliver sessions, and we can also go in and actually recruit from these courses, directly from these courses, if that's what we would like to do. Traineeships is a pre-apprenticeship program. So this program is really for anybody who's not quite ready for a full apprenticeship that Rich has been talking about. And this program is quite good because it's about 12 weeks in length, and it has a large majority of work experience. But the first part is about giving the young person the skills and knowledge that the employer would like. And again, like with most colleges in most courses within FE, this can be co-designed with the education provider. So it's not just an off-the-shelf kind of, here you go, here's the course that we're going to put on for you. It's very much around co-designing, making sure that the young people are getting all the skills that you would like them to have in order to make the next step. Rich has talked about apprenticeships quite extensively, so I'll leave that one as his knowledge is more extensive. But just to say, probably in the 16 to 18 bracket, there's around 15,000 young people accessing kind of further education courses within a college, and around a good 100 at each college are focused on health and social care, or even more. And this is kind of prime. These are young people that really want to work within the sector, really want to get a foothold and progress their career and work within kind of care homes, GP surgeries and hospitals. But we need to give them opportunities, and we need to work with the colleges in order to make sure that they do come out with the skills that you need, make sure that they do come out with the behaviors you want to see from your staff, and also come out thinking about your organization first. On the right hand side are the post-16 or the post-18 offers, and most of these are delivered in collaboration with A, an employer, B, the job centre, and C, the education provider. So you've got a sector-based work academy, which we'll come to a little bit later on. That's around about 2 to 4 weeks of a program, and you will help to co-design that program as well. You've got access to higher education courses, which is at level 3. They have kind of health and social care elements to those programs. You've got ESOL, which is about working with people whose English isn't their first language and helping them to develop those skills. Also, you've got functional skills, which are delivered by the colleges. So this could be somebody that you've employed to do an apprenticeship, but they don't necessarily have the functional skills qualifications to go on to it. They could access funding through the adult education budget funding to then support them with functional skills sessions as well. And then you've got something called skill boot camps, which are kind of a hybrid. So some funding will come from the employer, but most will come from central government. And that's more around leadership and management, but also around technology skills as well. Yes, Keryn, thank you. Okay, so I'm going to go into a little bit more detail about the support from post-16 providers. So I've split it up into kind of 3 categories. So improve the quality of applicants that you're getting, increase the number of applicants you're getting, and also there's a third step, which is around developing a skilled workforce. So in my mind, post-16 providers, both FE colleges and training providers, and also DAISY, can help with all 3 of these boxes in different ways and through different engagement levels as well. So if we look at improve the quality of the applicants that you're getting, so with T-levels and sector-based work academies, both delivered by FE providers and post-16 providers, you can actually work with the organization, work with the training provider to co-design the curriculum. So you sit down with them, you say, this is the kind of these are the skills we would like to develop, these are the roles that they're going into, and this is what we would like to see them come out with at the end. And then it will be the training provider working with you to see how they can deliver that within either the sector-based work academy or within the T-level program as well. So for instance, with T-levels, we've set some standards that we would like young people to come out with. Also, we've asked that they deliver some of our stat and mandatory training as part of their T-level program, and also that they have certain skills built into their curriculum so that when they come out, they're closer to what we want as a workforce than further away. So it means that we have to deliver less training when they come to us as well. So FE providers can also support with the delivery of specific skills to adults and young people. And what we do as a system is we actually support that delivery by going in to those courses and delivering specific sessions on certain skills. And that helps the young people come out with a consistent level of skill that matches the requirements of employers. Whereas sometimes what we were finding is there was an idea of staff within the system, within education providers, about what we wanted, and then there was a level that the employer wanted. But actually having access to deliver those skills within the education provider actually means that we're getting that consistent level, and we're getting it done a year ahead of when they're going to be joining us. And I think that's a great benefit to us as a system and as employers. We also provide work experience opportunities. And the great thing about work experience opportunities is that you're trying before you buy. So you're giving that young person an opportunity to work and to demonstrate their level of maturity and also their skills. But also you could offer that young person, if they're good enough, kind of part-time work. You could offer them bank shifts, you could offer them weekend work and holiday work. And then what that means is that you're building a relationship with those young people, so that when they leave college or leave school, they can then just transition into an apprenticeship with you. And then we also provide industry experience to staff, that teaching staff. And this means that actually teaching staff are given a much more accurate representation of the skills that are needed. So if I quickly cover the other two boxes as well. So by co-designing the curriculum, we offer and delivering as part of the course, we also have access to build a relationship with those young people, both within sessions and at career fairs, delivering mock interviews and providing work experience, which means they're much more likely to think of us when they come out and they're looking for employment. The other thing that we're trying to do is employ them before the end of their course. So instead of waiting until September when they get their qualifications, we're looking to employ them in May as well, when they're 18 and when they just before they finish their course, so that actually we're not competing with everybody else for them. We're going in there and we're getting them ahead of everybody else before they go onto the job market. And I think that's a real benefit to us. And then developing a skilled workforce, FE providers do provide short training programs, not only for new staff, but for experienced staff as well. And you can bespoke some, within reason, you can bespoke that to meet your needs as an organization or as a number of organizations. And you've got access to qualifications and marketing of apprenticeships, which the college should be doing for you, or your training providers should be doing for you. Yes, Karen, thank you. Okay, so this is just a summary of the different routes that are available to you as employers, as using. So these are all different pipelines. So if you think about all of these as a bank account full of people that could come and work within your organization. So you've got T-levels, which I've spoken about, and work experience opportunities across a number of courses. But you've also got traineeships here, which we can set up and help to support you set up. You've got apprenticeships, but these are these employability programs, which can be kind of co-designed with the colleges around this area and with training providers, can actually be a great source of people, because what they'll do is they'll go out and do the recruitment for you. They'll go out to work job centres and they'll speak to the job centres about these different courses that they're delivering, and they'll recruit directly into that program for you, which means there's very little cost in advertisement for you. All they ask is that you provide some training on the course or some talks, and then a mock interview at the end. And I'll come to that in the next couple of slides. But just look, so all of these, there's plenty of opportunities to work with colleges, and all of these will provide a good stream of young people and adults coming into your workforce as well. Yes, Karen, thank you. So this is a kind of an example of a pre-employment pathway using the sector-based work academy model. And Somerset ICB work with Weston College to deliver a program similar to this, or in a similar approach. And they recruit around 20 to 30 individuals a month through this approach, which is huge numbers when you look at what we've been able to do. in Bristol, North Somerset and South Gloucestershire. And it's a really simple design, or it's a really simple stepped approach. So you'll start by co-designing the curriculum or the 2-week programme with Weston College. Then Weston College, with a little support from yourselves, will go out and recruit and promote this in job centres and at local events and draw people onto the programme for you. Okay. Then the education provider, with probably a day of support from you, will deliver the main elements of the 2-week programme. And then at the end of that, you'll deliver a mock interview session where you'll mock interview them all. There's no need to guarantee a job at this point. You don't have to offer jobs at this point, but you can go away and think, actually, we've identified 5, 6, 7, 8 kind of people from those mock interviews that we would like to see again. So you've identified them, you could re-interview them or employ them on the spot, and then you could go, and then that's your new member of staff within your organisation. And the great thing is, because you've co-designed the training with Weston College or with SGS or City of Bristol, they've got the skills that you want, and they've got some of that stat and mandatory training already. And because it's 2 weeks in length, you've already probably started to do some of the pre-employment checks around that as well. So actually the onboarding becomes a lot quicker as well. But like I said, that's a hugely successful program down in Somerset, and we're looking at replicating that in the future. Next slide, please, Keryn.
Are there many more? We are running quite a lot. Okay.
This is the last one. So the T-level approach. So the T-levels is that we've helped to co-design the curriculum for about a year. We promote social care, but also health when we go in and we deliver sessions to young people. We also provide work experience that is then led on to bank placements or bank employment or flexible employment within a range of employers around the region, and holiday, that leads to holiday work. Then there's a guaranteed interview at the end for an apprenticeship or employment. Okay. And that's a great way to see which ones you would like to employ and then progress them on to an apprenticeship or as a skilled member of staff. So that's 2 programs that are really, really good. And if you'd like to find out more, Keryn's got my email address, or you can quickly ask some questions now. And we can support with the development of both sector-based work academies and T-levels as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Laurence. That's brilliant. There was one question that I think we should cover, because to be only fair, somebody's asked about apprentices for, sorry, press the wrong button. Apprentices for level 6 and level 7 qualifications.
Yeah, so there are apprenticeships available for level 6 and level 7. So so we've got the degree apprenticeships, and we've also got master's levels apprenticeships as well. It just depends in which area you would like them. So there is a senior leader apprenticeship, which is at master's level, but there's also a leadership one that's at kind of manager's level.
Lovely, thank you. Thank you, Laurence. That's really informative and really helpful to know how the process goes. Keryn, are you there? We are running very, very late. I'm so sorry about this, everybody, but it's so much of information, and I'm pretty sure that everybody's taking on board so much useful information. So can I hand you over to Keryn? Are you there, Keryn?
Yeah, I'm here. I just shared the screens actually. Let me get them back up. I will cut this down slightly. Can you hear me? Can you see me?
Yes, we can.
Slides?
Yeah.
Great.
Yes.
I'll cut it down because I think it's really important that we get Daisy up, because especially because of all. So this follows quite nicely on from Laurence's talk, really, and looking a little bit more in detail about some of those meaningful work experience and placements that you can offer within your settings. So I'm just going to really talk about the key principles and benefits to offering a meaningful placement, who we can offer a placement to, who can be involved, how to promote these opportunities, and looking at the guidance and governance that you'll need, especially for people that are under 18 and social care. So providing placements for students is not only beneficial for them, but also have really positive impacts for the rest of the team and the organisation as a whole. It's a great opportunity for existing staff to learn from students, as they're likely to be bringing in new ideas and fresh perspective, and especially when it comes to things like digital skills, because basically they can be incredibly useful when it comes to things like digital skills, creating social media advertising and things like that. So others can also bring in value with a host of life skills and experiences from a range of different backgrounds. And existing staff will be keen to share their knowledge, so it keeps them motivated as well as increasing their skills and confidence. Student work placements can also be a valuable tool in supporting recruitment and retention by providing current staff with the opportunity to mentor and support students. And sometimes this new level of fulfillment and responsibility in their role can increase work satisfaction, which is important in retaining staff. It gives the employer the chance to see if a student has the right values and behaviours to work in your organisation before offering them any employment. So this helps making sure that there are fewer wrong choices and you get the right people for the right roles, which in turn can reduce your recruitment costs and your turnover rates. And like Laurence said, there's also a great opportunity to offer bank work to students on placements, which in turn reduces agency costs and adds to the consistency of care. So offering work experience can help to connect with the local communities as well, such as schools, universities, colleges, job centres and other community groups. And this can create a positive image of you as an employer and boost your profile as a good employer. It also provides excellent evidence towards the well-led key line of inquiry for CQC. The quality statement meets with it because it's about we understand our duty to collaborate and work in partnership. So our services work seamlessly for people. We share information and learning with partners and collaborate for improvement. So when it comes to considering the types of work experience or you could offer within your organisation, obviously, you know, there's apprenticeships, we know, but universities and colleges are often looking for social care placements for their various undergraduate and postgraduate programmes, including nursing degree students, and that's across quite a wide range of mental health, learning disabilities and adult nursing as well. And that also includes nursing associate programmes. For people that aren't familiar with a nursing associate, it's pretty much the equivalent of the old state enrolled nurse from years ago. There's also programmes such as the Cert Ed in Health and Social Care, and they need work placements. And paramedic science students, so that's people that are training to be paramedics, they can also have a 2-week placement in social care. University of Gloucestershire have already been working with providers in Gloucestershire to offer this, and it's a really valuable opportunity for paramedics to gain an understanding of social care before they go out into the industry. And some of those paramedics are also going back to work with those providers on the bank as well. So do link in with your further education providers to discuss these opportunities. There are the pre-employment programmes and employability programmes, often called traineeships, as well as post-16 programmes. They're often referred to as NEETs, which are not in employment, education and training groups. And they will be doing a level 1 certificate in adult social care, again with a placement opportunity, and quite often will be directed onto a level 2 apprenticeship after completing these programmes. So again, we'll need a full-time placement for those as well. There are also the sector work-based academy programmes that support adults who are looking for work after a period of unemployment, or it might be that you wish to do your own targeted recruitment for offering placements. And that could be people that are possibly underrepresented in your workplaces. So it could be males, it could be disabled people or older workers. Other work experience areas to consider are with schools, because year 10s, 11s and A-level students all get the opportunity to have work experience. And again, you know, they may be inspired that they want to work in your setting when they leave education, or even, you know, may lead to part-time work around their studies. And the same applies to the Duke of Edinburgh again, they need to complete work experience, and also think about the Scout and Guide and Rangers associations who you can reach out to, just to let those organisations know that you can offer placements, and all of that then can help with your recruitment strategies. So some of the key principles, you will need to decide as an employer if your organisation is the right fit to offer a work placement, and you'll need to make sure you've got the resources and the capacity to be able to do so, as well as getting the buy-in from the people who might use your services, because they're going to be in contact with the work experience person, but also involving your staff in the planning and decision making around work experience. Ideally, allocate a champion or a coordinator who can have a particular focus on providing mentoring, supervision and induction. You'll also need to write a work experience policy and include your business case for offering work experience and the logistics of the placement, who's involved and what tasks are, etc. And Skills for Care have an example template of this that you can use on the website. It's also important that people know what to expect before coming on a placement. So you need to arrange a pre-meeting or telephone call before they start and go through some of the main areas. With regards to the governance, it's really important to ensure that you follow the correct procedures, such as students over 16 needing a DBS check, and who's likely to be providing this, because it may be obtained by the educational establishment at the start of the course. Students under 16 on work experience need a risk assessment carried out, and just so that you're aware, any individuals on work experience are covered by your existing employability's liability insurance policy. And I'll give you some links to all that guidance at the end. Make sure everyone on work experience gets a thorough induction so that they can settle in and work and learn quickly about working life. And you should include a plan or a schedule for their time spent in the workplace. Through our endorsed training providers, Skills for Care do offer a funded volunteer programme, which includes an introduction to social care, roles and responsibilities, whistleblowing, EDI, person-centred values, and a whole range of other topics which you can actually access free to support. So it's something that you can get your learners to do at induction. And then delivery, obviously you need to be including regular reviews, supervisions, and ideally a record of activity for the student to complete to be able to reflect on their learning. And then finally, at the evaluation stage, if you've got a vacancy, the work experience has been successful, you can offer the person a job and ask them to complete a survey or evaluation to gather feedback, as well as providing them with a completion certificate. So within some of our guidance, we've got all of these forms that you can use, these templates as induction checklists, workbooks, work experience plan, application forms. All of that is available within these guidance documents. So we've got the links, and hopefully these slides will be sent out. If not, I'll pop my email in the chat and I can send them to you. And then finally, just to finish off, to dispel any myths. This is because we hear myths all the time about under 18s cannot work in care. This is a quote from Kate Taroney, who's the Chief Inspector of Social Care at CQC, and whose first job was in social care. So you'll see from her statement, I'm not going to read it out, you can read it, but she's very much advocating for young people to work, the young people that are under 18 to work in social care. That's me. I'll pop my email in the chat for any questions.
Thank you, Keryn. That's great. Thank you so much. Yeah, there was lots of emails in the chat, so we will be picking them up and sending out slides, etc. Daisy, I am so sorry. We are running terribly late, and I hope people will stay to listen to you, because I know you're going to tell us about the Prince's Trust and very, very usefulness. So please, over to you. The floor is yours.
Yeah, brilliant. Can you see my screen okay? Is that all?
Yes, we can. Yeah, we can.
Yes, so my name is Daisy Richards, and I work for a charity organisation called the Prince's Trust. I'm going to try and be really speedy. I think I can do it quickly so that everyone can leave on time. So yes, the Prince's Trust, if you haven't heard of us, we're a youth-based charity. So we support 11 to 30-year-olds into their next steps. So we provide a quite large number of different services, but I specifically work in health and social care. But our general aim as a charity is to empower young people who may have faced disadvantages and helping them to be able to reach their full potential. So a lot of young people haven't had the chances that I may have, or you may have, obviously because of the COVID pandemic. They haven't had a chance to build their resilience. They haven't had practice applying for jobs. Most of them weren't able to do what some people did at school and work a part-time job. So they've really been missing out on a lot of opportunities. So I think that apprenticeships are a really great way to be able to provide for those young people and also allow them to also provide their services to you. So it's sort of that reciprocal relationship, allowing them to build up their resilience, which I thought was a really great part when some people were talking about their experience with apprenticeships and being able to build their resilience. So that's sort of what we do at the Prince's Trust. So yeah, like I said, specifically, I am seconded to work for the whole of BNSSG ICB. So for the next year, my target is to support at least 30 young people. So I work with 16 to 30-year-olds. So I say young people, but it goes all the way up to 30, because as we've said, sort of apprenticeships can be at any age as well. Yeah, my sort of targets are to support them into sustained employment. So I stay in contact with them for at least 3 months. And in terms of what support I can offer, this is a lot of text on the screen, I understand, so sorry, please just look away from it while I'm talking if it's a little bit too much all at once. But I run different programs and provide some different sort of bespoke support for different organisations, supporting them to recruit young people. So supporting recruitment and also supporting those young people to build up some of their skills. So usually they'll come on a programme with me. We'll cover sort of employability skills like CVs, cover letters, interviews, also some sector-based knowledge. So thinking about sort of the real basics like safeguarding and infection control and lots of those sort of like health and social care sector sort of information if they're new to the sector. And then also linking them in with employers to hopefully support them into employment. And there is a lot of flexibility in what I do. So I am able to sort of alter my programs and support specific sort of social care organisations or a general sort of social care apprenticeship or good sort of programme. And yeah, this can be supporting existing applicants. So if there are any applications that you receive that you think are not quite there, maybe they need a little bit more support, directing them to me. And also I can support in your recruitment. So if you wanted to sort of onboard a cohort of apprentices, or if multiple social care organisations wanted to potentially think about getting some entry-level apprentices, then I could sort of support in recruiting for that through our channels. So we do sort of DWP advertising. We also have our own marketing, and we've got sort of referral partner links to Bristol, North Somerset and South Gloucestershire. And I think Keryn has put in the chat as well. So we do cover the whole Southwest. So I specifically in Bristol, North Somerset and South Gloucestershire, but we cover Gloucestershire all the way down to Devon and Cornwall. So we're sort of the whole area, Wiltshire as well, and Swindon. So our Southwest team is all over the place. So yeah, this is just an option if you're sort of thinking about wanting to start potentially getting apprentices on board and wanted some support with recruitment. That's something that I can help with. I also can offer something called development awards. So this is a big pot of funding that we have as the trust to sort of support young people, so 16 to 30-year-olds, with any financial barriers that they have to access employment. So this is sort of once they've received a job offer, we can cover DBS checks, uniform. This can even be sometimes childcare for the first month, travel for the first month. So if they need to get a bus or fuel vouchers for the first month, we can support with that. And also with apprenticeships, especially if it's obviously we've heard some great stuff from Weston College. If there's going to be online learning involved in their apprenticeship and they don't have a laptop, we can also fund this. So any sort of associated costs with apprenticeship, we can also fund. And I know that Weston College do also have some really great provisions with that as well, but just to extend the amount of sort of resources that young people have for support. And yes, so this is up to £250 and can go up to £500 as well. So typically it's 250, 500 will require a little bit more sort of paperwork, but it's still doable. So this is sort of to aim to help potential new recruits obviously access employment, but also to sort of help them to feel like they're being supported by their organisation. So also to help with sort of maintaining that stuff as well. I've rushed through that. I won't go into testimonials. I was going to do a big spiel about some amazing stories. These are some Prince's Trust supported young people from our health and social care teams. So we support a really large number of young people into employment and sort of helping them to change their lives and overcome barriers. So if you wanted to have a look, there's lots of information on our website about the different testimonials. But given that it's just got 11:30, I'll just sort of pass on my information. So my Prince's Trust email and my NHS email. And if you have anything that you wanted to ask about, or if you wanted to potentially, get support in recruitment and running a program for you or your organisation, then please do get in touch. And that's me, finished just on time.
Oh, Daisy. Amazing. Thank you. There's so much information, so much help out there, isn't there? Keryn's asked, does the funding go past April?
Yeah, it will still be there in April. So it will be sort of, June will be the sort of end to the funding, I think. So we're trying to basically throw money at people. So please do, if you have any new staff that you're onboarding that are under 30, please pass their information on to me and I can fund sort of any barriers that they have.
Brilliant. Thank you so much. I think the whole morning, I hope everybody's taken away so much. There's lots of information, and for those people who sadly were unable to join us, we will put the recording up onto the website, and there are lots of emails addresses in the chat. I will make sure that I get the slides out to you all. And it's one question I have, I don't know if Richard's still on, or if Laurence is still on, or if Anne is still on, but one question I am asked with regard to the WDF actually is, can people join apprenticeships if they've not been in the country very long? So it's a little bit about recruitment of people that have come in maybe on maybe only been in the country for a year, or they got to be in the country for 3 years before they can attend an apprenticeship. There is a little bit of knowledge needed on that sort of side of it. I don't know who can answer that for me.
Look, Keryn, I'm still here in the main room of the event now, so you might have a bit more background noise. So you are right, there is a 3-year rule. However, that rule applies for non-EU residents. So, like, for example, if they moved to England from Germany or France or Portugal, somewhere like that, they can do the apprenticeship. There's no rule behind that. It's when they come from like Philippines, China, India, and anything like that, and they've not lived in the EU or England for 3 years. That's when we wouldn't be able to get apprenticeship funding.
Okay, thank you for that, Rich. It's good to clarify, because I
But
do get
there are
that.
exceptions though. So for example, if they're a refugee or something like that, there are exceptions to the 3-year rule. So it's worth, if you've got an inquiry, sending it our way, and we can ask a training provider to look at it, because they would be best positioned to kind of review the eligibility, because they're the ones that obviously would say yes or no to it on program.
Thank you, Rich. That's perfect. That's lovely. Okay, so there's no more questions, I don't think. So I'm going to stop the recording.